Brother D. Roy Cruz here, your life applications officer. Um, I'm on vacation and I just got out of the shower. I keep thinking it's like 7 o'clock in the morning when it is. What time is it? It's around 2 now, around 2 a.m. now, close to 2 a.m. And I'm in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Very, 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 um, very, very different city than Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. This town here is more um, conservative as far as how the town is being taken care of. People here, they make sure they take care of their city here. I was so blessed yesterday to come in to this town. Um, Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. It's after 12 a.m. So yesterday. To come into this town and find out that what the podcasts, people doing blogs on Allentown and the bloggers and that are saying about Allentown is true. I mean, nobody was walking around in fear about everybody was, you go into a store, there might be two people in there wearing a mask and nobody's worried. Okay. Um, Now I know a lot of people as well as conservatives have a fear about that. Like, let's that nobody should be opened up completely yet and all like that. They're starting to open up all these businesses. It was so nice to actually walk into a city and walk around and everybody's out. Everybody that knows everybody is out, and the people here aren't really that friendly though. They kind of have, um, a, what is it? Very, distant attitude, everybody, Um, and, there's the typical, um, you have everybody here. Uh, you have the poor and the upper class, mainly, the white upper class. Um, you have the white middle class and the white, um, needy underclass, and you also have a small percentage of blacks around here that are wealthy, and living good, and then you have the victims. You have the black community. Okay. um, and I noticed that we keep taking that narrative. We keep taking that narrative everywhere we go. Last thing I wanted to see coming in here was some black dude with his pants sagging. I seen one, just one, just one. But I also seen more than that. I seen black folks out doing things, just doing stuff like taking a walk, you know, cutting the grass, walking the dog, just doing normal stuff that normal people do, you know. Um, and then I wake up in the middle of the night and I said, okay, well, when I did my live video on Facebook last night, um, I told my church family what I was doing and how much I love this town and that. And then I wake up this morning around 1 o'clock and the TV's on and the news is on, all about Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia is probably about an hour or less away from here. About an hour, maybe a little bit and over an hour if you take the expressway, if you don't make any back trips or anything. Um, and I was totally appalled by what they were saying. And Philadelphia is a very democratic city. I mean, it is very, very democratic. And you got these people. Now, if I remember correctly, George Floyd did not get killed in Philadelphia. Wasn't that Missouri or Minneapolis that he got killed in? I think it was Minneapolis, wasn't it? I I don't know. Correct me. It wasn't Philadelphia. It's a long way from Philadelphia. Long way from Philadelphia. And I've been to towns where the white people were just like when I went to go see my friend in Ohio over a year ago. White people are different in Ohio than white people over here in PA. You know what I mean? I've been to Washington D.C. White people are different in Washington D.C. They're in than they are in PA. Um, you go down to a state like Florida, white people are definitely different, okay, than they are up here in the northern states. Okay, but black folks are always the same everywhere. You could go to Africa. Okay, the only difference between Africa and it's a big difference, but it's the only difference. The only difference between the underclass Africans and black folks here in the states is that Africans don't kill their own people. There is no African on African crime unless you are a rapist or you are a backstabber in some kind of way that's really really dangerous to a person's family. Unless you do are a serious snitch and snitch on a big deal which you were a part of or something like that. There's gangs and all like that, but nothing like here in the states. And but black folks here, they continue to be on the street. They continue to be the street people. What message are we saying about our race and our culture, if we have one, when we are always defending thugs? I'm sitting here watching the news here at around 1 a.m. and they're talking about how this black man has been going around raping all these women in Philadelphia. But on the flip, they're talking about, oh, we're so happy. We want all these people. You got all these people out here supporting the whole George Floyd campaign. And I look at these people, and the people that are white that are supporting this campaign are like, a lot of them are business owners, a lot of them are school teachers, a lot of them are political people and lawmakers. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, and you see people that don't fit the bill, if you know what I mean. Like, you see people that don't fit the bill. You see people that don't fit the bill. It's like, what do you got to do with this? You don't live here in the community. You don't live down here with these people. You're not going through what they're going through. You don't know what George Floyd went through, right? Yet they come there and they got on their Black Lives Matter mask and t-shirts and stuff like that, and talking about police reform, all this kind of stuff. Let me get a picture of this. Let me get a picture of this. A black man goes out and he is committing a crime. Let's see what police form looks like. Black man commits a crime. And so that means that when they pull up on a vehicle, they're not going to do it like they normally do, because if they look inside the vehicle and they see that the guy is black, then that means that they have to approach the vehicle differently because he's black. In honor of George Floyd and in honor of police reform, you have to approach the vehicle differently. You can't just yell and scream, get out of the car, blah, 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 blah. That kind of thing. You can't do that. And then you got to tell you guys, back off and wait for him. So if he wants to hold you up all day, getting out of the car or putting his hands on the wheel or sticking his hands out of the window, or, if he comes out and he resists arrest and he hits another police officer, he tries to run. If he runs, you can't chase him. You can't tase him. Okay? There is nothing you can do in the name of, even if he shoots 5 officers, okay, that story could get fabricated, okay, and even after you prove what really happened, the one that shot the 5 officers gets to be the victim. If he struggles with a police officer for his gun, okay, no matter what that officer did, whether he shot him, tased him, or whatever, no matter what happened, that he gets taken down, he gets taken down. This young man, because he was black, is the victim. If he gets away, he's the victim. If he shoots the officer, he's the victim. And if the officer shoots him, he's the victim. No matter what, he's the victim. Because he's black. Why would I? Why does, and this is the thing. I just did a video. I think I did the video. I just did a video. Just did a video of, never seen that before. My hands expiring onto the table and causing the table to sweat. Cheap hotel. Anyway, I really don't give a rat's A about Philadelphia. That nonsense I just watched. What the heck was that? Now you got black people in the police force. God help them not to get assassinated. Coming in there talking about, oh, well, I didn't really want to become a cop. I became a cop because I wanted to make a difference. And I believe that I can mentor between the two. But why do we as black people have to constantly be victims of something that we don't have to be victims of? Why do we constantly why are we constantly victims of our own right to be victims? Why are we constantly why isn't there a difference between, as I did in the last video? I think I did the video. I hope I recorded it. I have to look. I hope I recorded that video because I know I tore two of them down, but I just did a video on. I believe I posted it the other day. A video on. Oh yes, I did. I did post it. A video on. Help me, Lord. Um, on understanding the other side of white people. The ugly side of white people. Um, that we don't want to see, but we have to deal with it. It's there, but it doesn't create crime in black folks. It doesn't create enough anger in a black person to make them turn out to be George Floyd or, Michael Brown or, um, the different people recently that have fallen into crime. And nothing is changing. See, there's people because they know that I'm coming from a totally different, color on the map. There's people, white people that will tell me to my face, oh, well, we probably want to go here or there because he's black. And, no matter what he does, he's the victim. So let's not even get to it. If he starts arguing and yelling, let him go. Don't argue with him because if he slapped one of us or whatever, he's the victim. So well, just leave it alone. But, and so the cops are supposed to respond differently if they pull up on a black person from now on, especially in Philadelphia. And Biden is jumping out there and requesting immediate, as they put it, which I think is I don't mind. I don't mind police reform. I do believe that police need to be less scared. They need to lighten up a little bit when they deal with a hostile. I believe that since I was a kid. The first time I got pulled over, I told the officer, I was just a teenager. I said, calm down, man. You pulled me over for speeding. You didn't pull me over for killing nobody. He told me about my black A out here and all that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah, back in the early 80s, they could get away with that. And it didn't bother us like it bothers us today. Because my black A shouldn't have been speeding at 2 o'clock in the morning in a residential area where the speed limit is 5 miles an hour. And I'm flying through, no stopping at stop signs or nothing. I thought about my black A before he pulled my black A over and called me a black A. Okay? But it kills me that, we've come such a long way from that. And I understand it. You know, white people in general, like I said in the last video, need to lighten up, calm down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen before yeah, you should listen to see what a suspect or a victim or whatever you want to call them has to say before you jump to conclusions and call the police and jump to conclusions and pull out a taser or a gun and go screaming and acting a fool. If a person is unarmed, why is anybody drawing a gun? I admit. Why is anybody drawing a gun? Why are you tasing an unarmed man when there's five of y'all? Five of y'all can't put your weight on this guy and get him down. Yeah, we police reform don't bother me. Police reform does not bother me. Police reform should have been reformed back when I was a kid. However, what about black reform? Hmm? What about black reform? When are the black folks, the black youngsters, and George Floyd wasn't no youngster, but when are these black people going to stop? See, there's a reason why everywhere we go, black folks are the same. They never change. White people change. Asian people change from city to city. You can see a difference. Okay. But in these cities where white people don't change are the same cities where, like Philadelphia, and a lot of New Yorkers and a lot of Philadelphians migrated here to Allentown since COVID. Okay. And I know that um, a lot of them don't aren't happy about that. They're not happy about, you know, the underclass migrating into who would? I mean, white people are people. They're normal people. They have normal views on life just like anybody else does. We hate them because they're at the top of their game. You know what I mean? We hate them because you can be driving down the street and that house belongs to a white person. Ain't nobody driving that yacht but a white person. Okay, you can drive through a neighborhood. Just the white neighborhood. Come on, man, it's the white neighborhood. Even if you see a black person come out of one of the houses, you're gonna say to yourself, "Well, everybody else out here is white." I guarantee you. I bet you money on it. Yeah, it's been like that forever. Why wouldn't it be? We didn't build this country without supervision of who? This country wasn't taken from us. Now you can blame that crap on the Native Americans, and you can blame that on, some of the Spanish colonies. You can't blame that on, you know what I'm saying? You can say that, I'm sorry, I should say, you can say that, you can push that victimization card for the Native Americans and some of the Spanish colonies that, you know, have lived surrounding the U.S. But you can't say that about black folks because Africa was over there doing its thing, and Africa took us as slaves first and sold us to the white man. So you can't use that card as to why you're always in the rut. You're always in the downgrade, and the white man is always in the upgrade. You can't. It's your fault. There's no way you can twist that because look, and you keep missing it. We keep missing the fact that other countries don't have this problem. Black people are having. These Indians are just as dark as us. And a lot of these Africans are as dark as us. The only difference is Africans coming here and they want to work labor jobs. And they wonder why that doesn't get them hit because in the continent of the United States, labor jobs are not well paid jobs. I don't care, okay, who you are or where you do them. Okay, labor jobs are not in the top five. Okay, um, they're just not. They're on the bottom. And those people, whether they be white, whether they be black, whether they be, Napoleons or Spanish people or whoever they be, they know, you're going to be on the top. You're going to be down on the top three, not on the top five. Okay, and you're not going to make enough money to take care of your family. That was your choice. Okay, now you say, well, white people got everything. No, they don't, because a lot of Indians, people from the Middle East, come in here and they live right next door to white people in these big, giant, $2 million homes. Okay? They live right next door. They out on the lawn talking about your black behind together. And he darker than you. He darker than me. Talking with the white man out on the front lawn about how dumb black folks are. These are the same people that'll go over here to Philadelphia and put on these Black Lives Matter masks and all this and say, yeah, we need to do police reform. Yeah, we need to stop killing these black people. It's a shame. White supremacy is just horrible. And fine then. Sell your $2 million house. Okay, and put me in there. You fat liar. Next time a black man want to date your daughter, then you say, hey, police reform. Go ahead, date my daughter. We'll just call it police reform. Go ahead, date my daughter. Just to show you that I'm not racist. Go ahead, date my daughter. Even though I know that you can't support her. You can't support her like I can support her. You can't support her like a white man can support her. Go ahead, date my daughter. Go ahead. He has no right because you're black. He has no right to. But black folks didn't make it in the top five or the top 10 or whatever. Black folks that are making money playing basketball or football or being entrepreneurs owning property all over the country. Real estate agents, real estate owners. A lot of them black. They don't want your black behind dating their daughter either. I know I don't. I used to encourage my girls when they were in high school. And I used to threaten them and tell them, don't bring home no boy that got his pants sagging. I won't let him in the house. Boy tried to get my car one time. Didn't even ask if I would give him a ride. He figured my daughter said he could give a ride. So, you know, my daughter said I would give him a ride. So he didn't even have to ask. I don't operate like that. I told him to get out of the car. He says, why? I says, you can't get my car like that. He said, like what? Oh, well, I'll pull him up then. Yeah, you need to leave him up. I gave him the ride, and they never came all the way up. He couldn't wait to get out of my car and let him drop back down to his knees. I told my daughter, I said, "You like that crap? You like that kind of guy? You like, oh, Dad, he's a nice guy. Just we don't really pay attention to whether it's well. You need to. You need to." Um, I said, "What's so nice about him?" They couldn't explain to me what's so nice about him. Anyway, but is that our heritage? Swagger, as they call it, is that our heritage? Rap music. You listen to some of these YouTubers, they'll tell you that rap music belongs to black people. They don't want white people thinking that they can rap. They don't want white people claiming that they're going to be a white rapper. Eminem ain't no rapper. Really? Is that what I have to look up to say that I have a culture, to say that I have a heritage? And if I go to the sea and get on a boat and try to find some heritage and some culture in that actually belongs to somebody that lives on an island. It ain't black folks. Might even be Hawaiian, but it ain't black folks. Okay. Um, if I go to the mountains, that's somebody else's culture. If you know you know why did you need so many black farmers, or should I say white farmers, in Africa in the first place? If Africans knew how to farm, now you got to kill the white farmers because the white farmers own everything. And even though they living in the continent of Africa, they want their daughters to marry white men, and they want their kids to live in segregated neighborhoods and go to segregated schools. That's not going to stop. You know why? Because there is no black reform. Ever since the civil rights movement, black people have fallen off the edge of the earth. I knew this when I was a kid. I used to watch my daughter, not my daughter, what am I saying? My father, I meant to say. I used to watch my father act out. And I used to say, why do black people act like this? I was just a kid, just a little thing. And I used to watch my father go talk to other women behind my mother's back. And I have. People ask me all the time, they says, "You the only child?" I say, "Oh, I'm the only child." That's not true. I have brothers and sisters by my father. I met them. I met my siblings. I don't know their names. I wouldn't remember them, okay, from placenta. I wouldn't remember them. But I have brothers and sisters. Me and other people share the same father, okay? And I used to think when my father was out there acting out, why do black people act like this? Because I knew even back then as a kid, a lot of this stuff is very common in the black community. I knew that. But what we really need is black reform. We don't need police reform. We need black reform. We need black reform. I'm getting ready to ride into New York. I'm mad at Philadelphia, but I'll probably be passing through Philadelphia on the way. In this town here, I believe that and it's one of them towns. just like all these other towns around here. And there's going to be a civil war. Eventually, there's going to be a civil war, and this time it's going to be the white people that are fighting for their right to be white, fighting for their right to stay in the top five, fighting for their right to keep violence and crime out of their neighborhood. And if, like I said in the last video, if there is a color to crime, that helps us stop it faster. You know what I'm saying? If there's a dog out there biting people, and the dog is a certain breed, that helps us track down who's biting everybody, because everybody got a dog. Everybody got a house, got a dog. So if we go out there and we're looking for a dog suspect, doesn't the make of the dog determine who we have to go to stop these dog attacks that have been happening lately? If there's a car, you can't see the person in the car, you just see the car. You get the make and model and the year of the car. And you can determine what to look out for and what to discriminate against. What, you know what I'm saying? If it was a Toyota Camry that's been going around here robbing other cars and hitting other cars and doing hits and runs, you never get to see the dude because he beats the camera. You never get to see whether the dude's white or black. You just get to see the car. The car is a white Toyota Camry. What happens? Now everybody's got their eyes on Toyota Camrys, and they have, and any Toyota Camry that's not sitting turned off in a lot waiting to be bought, brand new, you're leery about a Toyota Camry. If you go and see a Toyota Camry that seems like it was that same make and model and year, you go see that Toyota Camry sitting in a used lot. You're wondering if the perp, whoever he was, left that Toyota Camry there to get away with crime. You don't trust that Toyota Camry. You don't want to buy that Toyota Camry used. White people don't mind adopting black children and raising them as their own and teaching their sons and daughters how to love these black kids with all their heart. It's the generation that didn't grow up properly in functional families that everybody's worried about. But you look like you grown and we don't know you. So we didn't raise you. I didn't raise you. This white man didn't raise you. So we don't know you. You know a black man when you raised him. You know a black man when he's lived in your house and ate your food and did chores in your house for 20 years. You know him. You don't know DeRoy Cruz. Even though DeRoy Cruz don't play the part. Don't he ain't walking around here like George Floyd. Okay? I go in the store, you don't like my 20, I'll give you another one. Or I'll say, here, use my card. Okay? I'll take that 20 somewhere where somebody don't think it's counterfeit. I'm not going to have, you ain't going to be, ain't no cops coming to deal with me about a $20 bill or a $10 bill, whichever one it was. Ain't no cops coming. I don't care how racist these white people are. Trust me. Ain't no cops coming. You don't like my 20? You can use my card. If you say we don't take credit here because you don't trust, credit coming from black folks, okay, well, I'll go somewhere else. I'll go to a local 7-Eleven or something and do it without even going to see the teller. Okay? I'll go to you know what I'm saying? We don't need to fight. We don't need violence. We don't need to make people like us while we ignore them every day. What am I doing for anybody that they need to like? When people like you because you do things for them. Take it from a black man that goes into these wealthy neighborhoods and he cuts lawns, so many lawns, and they pay him good money to cut these lawns, and therefore he what? He's an entrepreneur almost. He can live off this money. He's living just as good or better than a local steel worker. People love him. Why? And now he's been doing it so long, white people give him the keys to the garage. Here's the keys to the garage. Go in there and get the lawnmower. Okay, if you need to. But if you ain't doing nothing for me, why should I trust you? Why should I like you or think that you wouldn't do a crime? I don't know you. But oh, we black, we special. So don't shoot us when we're doing crime. Don't tase us when we're trying to knock you out. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't, like this guy they just showed on, they got a serial rapist in Philadelphia. Now, when they catch this black guy, what are they supposed to say? Would you like a ride in my police car? Come on, come on. No handcuffs needed. Get the back seat. We'll give you a free ride. If they beat the snot out of this dude and kick him in his balls, he got what he deserved. I don't care what color he is. He could be my cousin for all I care. He could be my blood brother. If my flesh and blood twin is dumb enough to rape, oh my God, this guy raped what, 30 women? After these cops get done beating him like he Freddie King, clubbing him until he's. By the way, that was police reform right here when they got rid of the Billy Club. They got rid of the Billy Club because Freddie King. Okay. I was the last black man to carry a Billy Club. The last security officer to carry a Billy Club. And the reason why they let us carry Billy Clubs because we didn't have, handguns on us, working in hospitals. But anyway, um, after this black brother get done getting beat up like Freddie King by the cops, he can kiss my A. Matter of fact, I might just walk up and open up my zipper and piss on him. Okay. After they get done beating him to death. Who is he that he has a right to want special treatment when he's a criminal? We're not defending entrepreneurs out here. We're not defending the black people that are trying to get to the top and they can't get to the top. We're not defending black people that have to compete with these white people to get a corporate job. We're defending thugs. We're not defending the black man that wants to move in the upper class community. And they keep doing things, and this is a real issue. They keep doing things to keep certain minorities from moving into their neighborhoods. They keep practicing segregation, even with people that are qualified to live in those neighborhoods, not only by money, but by background check, by attitude, personality, skill, career. They're obligated. They're what's the word? Privileged to live in those communities, but they don't want them in there. And so they play games to try and keep these people out of there. Me and my wife, when I was married, we bought a house up on the hill, and we tried to buy a house up in the hill. um, in the predominantly white section of New Kensington, Arnold actually, and it didn't happen. The old white man did not trust us. He kept changing his story over and over and over. And I asked my wife, we were discussing, I said, who do we talk to? Do we have to go to court? Can we go to the magistrate? Who can we talk to get fair justice? Now, that's what I would like to see reformed, okay, is housing reform, okay? You know what I'm saying? You don't need to worry about somebody's credit or their credit background for a house when they're paying cash. And when it comes to a house, when it comes to a place to live, we got 4 kids. I can understand credit to buy a brand new car, but a house, I demand reform because that's a place where you need to live. And everybody, just because of the color of their skin, shouldn't have to live in the projects. Everybody, just because of the color of their skin, shouldn't have to live, in the lower class sections of every city. Okay? But again, it goes back to my question. Why are so many black folks always staying in the lower class? They're not staying in the lower class because of white supremacy. They're staying in the lower class because of lack of black reform. Because black people are consistent, determined not to change. And the truth of the matter is, I'm closing, is that black people need to change. We could kill by white cops a whole neighborhood, just go in there shooting. That will not change the fact that black folks need to change. Big time. We've been long overdue. We need black reform. We need black reform. I'm going to write a book, a graphic novel on New Black City. It's going to be called New Black City one of these days to show you how that's done, but that's a long way off because right now it's just a fantasy. I have no way of making that a reality right now. It's going to take a long time for that to become a reality, but I'm telling you, we need black reform. It's black reform that we need, not police reform. You're gonna you're gonna reform the police, but the blacks get to still be thugs. And don't tell me some hog washed stupidity that, oh well, if you reform the police, then black people will naturally reform. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And there are towns that already have police reform. Long before Obama, long before you know, um, some of these more uppity uptowns that have, these small sections of town where there are, minorities, not just blacks, but other minorities living in those towns. Okay? They have police reform. Well, I believe Du Bois, Pennsylvania, is one of those towns that are practicing police reform. That's not stopping black folks from coming into town and making a mess of it. We need black reform. I say refund the police, reform the black community. And just like Donald Trump, it doesn't matter whether the leader is a white man or a black man. Put whatever it takes for you to listen. Usually it's a white man. Black folks don't listen to black folks. Okay, they only listen to black folks when they don't want to hear from white folks. But when it really comes down to somebody you trust teaching you how to get ahead, Black folks really don't listen to black folks. Black folks only listen to black folks when it's a black issue. And they want to keep it a black issue because they're afraid that if they don't, they'll be embarrassed. Well, you are embarrassed. You should be embarrassed. Trying to make everything a black issue. And we're the only people that do that. Asians ain't making everything an Asian issue. Okay? These Indians ain't making everything an Indian issue. Spanish, Native American. Native Americans are the biggest crybabies you ever want to meet. But they still don't make everything a Native American issue. As long as they got the reservation, they don't bother anybody. Usually the ones that come off the reservations are the kind of people I like though. They usually find Jesus and start acting like a normal American when they step off the reservation. But that's another video. Look, this is Leroy Cruz, your life applications officer, signing off. We need black reform. I say flip it around and put it back to where it's supposed to be. Black reform first, police reform second. Okay? Because like Brandon Tatum said, white folks want to go home to their families. They want the nuts. Black men, white men that are cops want your nuts attached to their body when they go home to their wives. They don't want their wife, okay, coming to them with a stitch, a first aid kit and ice, okay, and spend the night they were supposed to be having a lovely rendezvous. Spend that on healing up her husband. He doesn't want that. He don't want to go home to his kids and his kids see that being a police officer is all about getting your butt kicked by black folks all the time. Now, last but not least, when I was a kid, I used to wonder if white folks were police officers because they were racist. Well, there are white folks that are police officers because they have a they have a point. They have a point to prove. Why would you become a police officer knowing that you're going to work the community that you don't love? You're going to work a community that you don't live in. You're going to drive all the way down there. So to say that, there's no such thing as a racist cop and all like that, that's baloney. That's bullshit, my friend. A lot of cops become cops because they've been bullied by blacks. They have, they're interested in, payback. They when they see law and order, what they see is black folks in handcuffs, black folks in jail, black folks on death row. That's what a lot of police officers see. And what really bothers a police officer is what happens to a guy after they arrest him. How long he's been in prison, how long he's, whether he got death row compared to others or whether but cops do become cops because they know that most of their criminals, I mean, it's very common sense. It's common sense. If you know that most criminals, if you know that you're going to become a cop and you're going to be set in the inner city and most of the criminals are going to be black or Spanish, why did you become a cop then? It's not like you didn't know. Now, however, on the same flip, I know a lot of guys who never wanted to move to the city. They always thought that they would be a small town cop. A lot of these small town cops are making more than city cops, and they don't do nothing because everything is just peachy and green. What are they going to do? Help some old lady across the street? What are they going to do? Help some guy get his keys out of his car? There's no crime in these cities. Okay? But a lot of these cops knew that if they became a cop, they would be dealing with the black community every day, arguing with black people, putting handcuffs on black people. They knew that. Okay? But in closing, that does not justify black folks constantly being out of control and thinking that when they finally get caught, they're the victim. It needs to stop. I say black reform now. Everything from the streets to your little arrogant attitude. I say black reform right now in Jesus' name. Okay. I'm not worried about the failures of white people as much as I'm worried about the failures of those that claim that, and it's funny, like if I have a heart attack right now in this hotel room, if I have a heart attack right now, okay, the only people that are going to care about that are my immediate family. If I have a heart attack and die right now, and they found out that I went to Allentown and had a heart attack, the only people who are going to care about that is my immediate family. But if I get shot, okay, especially if I get shot by a white cop, because the white cop asked me to get out of the car and I did it everything backwards. I come running out of the car. Okay, I had something in my hand when I ran out of the car. He thought I was running towards him with a weapon or something. Okay, maybe a mosquito was coming after me. Maybe there was a bumblebee in the car and I thought I needed to run out of the car. But it looked like I was running towards the officer. So he shot me. All of a sudden, I become somebody special. Oh, D. Cruz, nobody liked me before I got shot by white cops. But now that I got shot by a white cop, everybody loves me. Oh, D. Cruz, there's another one, another good brother. He was a good brother. They don't even know me. Oh, he was a good brother. Okay, you didn't even like me, but oh, he was a good brother. And they shot him down like he was an animal. They shot him down, and all he wanted to do was get out of the car. And then the cop shot him. He wasn't even armed. He was reaching for his cell phone. Blah, 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 blah. Police reform, defund the police. Do me a favor. I don't care if the skinheads or the KKK find me. Okay? Anything that happens to Leroy Cruz is by natural causes. Racism isn't going anywhere. Okay? Nobody's going to like you just because you were once a slave. So it would be natural for them to be in some form of apology for what your ancestors did. Life doesn't work that way. You're asking for the unrealistic. Okay? No, what you need to do is worry about you and your family and making sure your family is reformed, making sure they know how to go to work, make sure they know how to climb the ladder, because if you ain't climbing, you're drowning. If you're not climbing, you're drowning. Don't just sit back and smoke weed and go to work every day, do your little labor job, because that's just going to make you hate white people, because you're never going to get ahead in life. Don't become LeBron James, though, okay, and think that you're going to support the victims that you don't care about. that you ain't going down to the ghetto to see. Okay, but you gonna talk about you a victim? You a victim? How, LeBron? That's another video. Anyway, I'm out of here. Another long video, but it was good. Thank you for watching. D-Roy Cruz, your life applications officer. What do you think? Do you believe that black people need to be reformed? I do. I want to know what you think. Do you think that black people need to be reformed? Do you think that, oh, we need to just stop shooting black folks, even though black folks commit more crime, even though black folks do dangerous things and resist arrest during a stop by the police? Okay, what do you think? I say reform black America first, and then we'll worry about everybody's attitude towards black America. God bless you. I'm D. Recruiter Life Applications Officer. Signing off. Thank you. Oh, keep forgetting this ain't my tablet. I gotta